To the seventh domain of the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. And this is about you. The past domains talked about the learning environment, the diverse learners, curriculum, assessment, pedagogy, and content. But this has something to do with you. That's why for the board exam, this has to be very, very important. This is critical. And this is the seventh domain known as personal growth and professional development. As you may know, growth has something to do with quantitative. Growth is something measurable. But, when you say development, this is qualitative. This is what you can actually demonstrate as skills. It's your qualities that matter. Your salary can be growth. Your promotion is related to growth. Your savings, your financial literacy will drive you to growth. That's why it's called personal growth, because it's you growing. But professionally, don't forget to develop. Development is qualitative. It has something to do with the quality of teacher, what kind of quality teacher you are. All right. Your journey as a teacher begins when you become what you call the beginning teacher. Okay. A beginning teacher is someone who has the qualifications. You passed the board, you studied education for 4 years, or you took another course, you took 18 years, and the fact is you passed the board. That's why you have the required skills, knowledge, and values to become a teacher. You have the capability, you have the qualification, you have the requisites as far as becoming a teacher is concerned, because you have the qualification. All right? You have the vital skills. But you cannot stay there forever. You have to develop. You can be, and you should be, a proficient teacher. Okay. A proficient teacher, therefore, has the independence. That's the magic word. You become independent. When you're a beginning teacher, you will seek advice. You'll run to your master teacher. You run to your senior teacher. But when you're a proficient teacher, you become independent. Not because you don't need them, not because you don't collaborate with them, but because you are more skilled already in planning, in implementing, and even in monitoring, in managing, and even evaluating educational programs. So that's the beauty of becoming a proficient teacher. But you don't stop there. You should endeavor to become a highly proficient teacher. Okay, by becoming a highly proficient teacher, you become the mentor to many. You become a collaborator for the teams that are developed in your schools. And you have the in-depth and sophisticated capability, not only as a teacher in the classroom, but a teacher in the school and a teacher in the community. So that's what you demonstrate when you become highly proficient teacher. And of course, you reach up the ladder and you become the distinguished teacher. Okay, and the distinguished teacher now is someone who is more global in perspective. But you don't stop there even. As you reach the distinguished teacher level, you become a lifelong learner. But because as a lifelong learner, even here, you become a lifelong learner and you get that far, you create a lifelong impact already to not only to your students, but to your co-teachers, to the administrators, even to the community. You speak the language of quality. You speak the language of excellence. You become more global. And you know what? When you become a distinguished teacher, you endeavor even more to become engaged in professional adjustment. So this is your journey. Now, where are you? You're currently not yet there. But the moment you pass the board, you will become the beginning teacher, okay, the proficient teacher who is independent already, who is skilled already in many areas of educational planning, not only the classroom, but for the entire school. A highly proficient is the mentor, it's the mentor, it's the collaborator, someone who has in-depth information or knowledge about becoming a teacher, someone who is a little more sophisticated. And when you become, a leader, an educational leader, speaking global, speaking quality, speaking excellence, then you become the distinguished teacher. You will not be able to go up the ladder unless you are familiar with the seventh domain. And the seventh domain, as I said earlier, has something to do with personal growth and professional development. Okay, this is what we will talk about now. All right, let's talk about personal growth. What does it mean? It means that the teacher actually value. There is something you value if you have this. You value, all right, you value personal growth and professional development. That's what you value. But this is where the teacher will have to embrace, whether you like it or not, the requirement for CPD, continuing professional development. Well, this looks like simply, an engagement to comply with Republic Act 10912. Okay, this Republic Act 10912, strengthened the continuing professional development not only for teachers but all regulated professionals. And this has something to do also with the creation of the CPD councils among all professions. And simply put, and by the way, this is in 2016. As early as 2016, we all have this already. And the mandate of this is for professionals, for baccalaureate graduate professionals to have 15 units per year. Or since we are renewing the license every 3 years, remember the license is just a privilege, that's why it's renewed, you are required to have 45 units per renewal, which is actually 3 years. Okay, now, if you have excess, that's fine. All right, if you have excess, that's fine. Graduate studies are included here, seminars, accredited seminars, etc. Now, I'd like to dig deep a little more on the concept of the CPD. Don't forget that there is such a thing as ASEAN economic integration. Okay, the ASEAN economic cooperation. Don't miss that. The 10 countries, okay, coming together. All right, not only for economic, but also for human resource. And that's why there is such a thing as Aqrf. What is the Aqrf? The ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework. Okay, this is the qualification reference. That's the thing there. Qualification reference. Okay, it's a framework in the ASEAN. And that's why in the Philippines, we have such a thing as Philippine Qualification Framework. The Philippine Qualification Framework puts it in several levels. You have to attend reviews to understand more about this. But the thing is, the qualifications that you're earning in the Philippines is something that is recognized in the ASEAN because we have the mutual recognition arrangements, the ASEAN, okay, the ASEAN MRA, mutual recognition arrangements, where your qualifications here are recognized elsewhere in the ASEAN. In the same way that the qualifications of our neighbors in the ASEAN are also recognized here in the Philippines. Okay, when you speak of CPD, okay, when we speak of CPD, go down there, the CPD refers to post-baccalaureate, okay, post-baccalaureate specializations, okay. For example, you want to specialize. That's why when graduate studies are included here. It's something to do also with interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary, okay, multidisciplinary fields. For example, you want to attend first aid programs of nurses. That's fine. That's acceptable because that's part of CPD. It's a multidisciplinary. Now, if you're a math major and you want to learn English from the English majors, that's okay. That's that's within the profession, intradisciplinary. But if you want to cross border in other disciplines, that's also okay. And the purpose of this, of course, is the assimilation. That's the thing. It's an assimilation. That's why it is wrong that you are renewing this month. You will get all the units that you need this month. That's wrong because it's a process of assimilation so that you can inculcate, you can put it in the practice, you can put it in research, or simply put, you can put it because you are, you can adopt it and assimilate it because you are a lifelong learner. Okay, later on, we'll talk about the lifelong, the lifelong learner. Therefore, the CPD is not only about renewing the license. The CPD has something to do with what is very important, which is your knowledge, your skills, and your values, the knowledge, skills, and values. And this has to be demonstrated in 4 areas. I hope this can still be seen. The 4 areas. First is cognitive. Cognitive. Okay, it's your understanding. Naiintindihan mo pa ba ang profession mo habang nagbabago siya? Functional. Okay, functional. Yung naintindihan mo ba, nagagamit mo pa? That's the question. Another one is ethical. Okay, ethical. Ikaw ba ay meron pang moral righteousness as a professional? And of course, last is personal. Okay, napakinabangan mo ba ito bilang tao? That's the essence of the CPD. Therefore, I want to deepen that CPD is not only about compliance of the 15 units per year or the 45 units every renewal, but the CPD is you developing the specialty deeper and wider. It's interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. You want to attend financial literacy courses, that's okay. That's part of it. Because you want the context of the law, which is RA 10912, is so that you can assimilate to it for the improvement of your practice, for your engagement in self-directed research, and your role as a lifelong learner. So this is where the CPD will come in. And when you speak of development and growth, we're talking about the magic word learning. Okay, the thing there is, are you still learning? Okay, and learning can come in 3 different forms. This can come to you in formal, non-formal, or informal. Okay, the formal is easy. Formal is when you go to school, there is a structured curriculum, or you go to a national agency like NAYAP, there is a curriculum that they follow, you engage in learning, that's formal learning. The graduate studies are formal learning. When you speak of the non-formal, these are the more flexible. Non-formal are the alternatives in addition to formal. These are trainings, these are seminars, workshops. Okay, but when you speak of informal, hindi siya formal, it is what you learn in life. Okay, you learn it in life. But is it something, can you just go to PRC and say, "Hi, I had an informal learning on gardening"? Of course, they will believe that you learned it in life because you became a plantito during the pandemic. But the thing is, after you engage in the informal learning, you have to make sure that there is recognition. Okay, recognition. And such that will be recognized. How will that be recognized? There is validation, validate, and that validation is through assessment. And that's why you are assessed. And because of that, you will be given accreditation. Okay. And what do you get if you went through, for example, an informal learning, like you self-studied on, because you went to the YouTube University, you self-studied on agriculture, and then you go to PRC that you have learned it. Okay, maybe you can go to TESDA, and TESDA will subject you to validation of your competency and will give you accreditation for what you have learned, because at the end of the day, these things you engage in here leads you to what you call qualification. That's the magic word. Okay, because the thing about CPD is that it should improve, it should increase your qualification. It's not a waste of time because you become more qualified after you engage in it. Okay, let me recap this part because I will still fill up this part, this side of the wall. Okay, it goes like this. When you speak of personal growth and professional development, ang ibig sabihin nito, you value. Binibigyan pahalaga mo ang personal growth and professional development. In the more concrete term, ito yung CPD, Continuing Professional Development, na nanggaling sa isang batas, 10912, na nag-utos sa PRC since 2016, na dapat bago ka makarenew ng license, kailangan mo ng 45 units kasi kailangan mo ng 15 units per year. So kung uma-attend ka ng seminar 3 times in 1 year at binigyan ka ng 5 units per seminar, meron ka ng 15 units. Pero yun lang ba ang pinanggagalingan ng CPD? The answer is no. Pero palalimin pa natin ang usapan. meron kasing tinatawag na ASEAN Economic Cooperation. At dahil dyan, nagkaroon ng ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework na kung saan ang qualification ng Filipino professionals ay nire-recognize, mutual recognition, kasi may agreement ang ASEAN na may mutual recognition na yung ating qualifications na naaayon sa ating Philippine Qualification Framework ay nire-recognize din as qualification sa ibang bansa sa ASEAN. At kasabay niyan, yung mga qualifications ng mga kapitbahay nating ASEAN nations, tatanggapin din dito sa Pilipinas. Okay? At kagaya nun, sabi ko, therefore, kailangan nating mag-specialize. Kaya mag-engage tayo sa mga post-baccalaureate specialization training, education, okay? Pwedeng interdisciplinary across the discipline, pwedeng multidisciplinary. By multidisciplinary, pwedeng umattend ka ng isang seminar sa first aid, may nakita ka dong engineer, may nakita ka dong nurse, may nakita ka dong doktor, may nakita ka dong teacher. Yun ang multidisciplinary kasi tanggap yon. At ang konteksto ng CPD ay i-assimilate mo, iipunin mo ang learning na yon. Iipunin mo ang learning na yon para magamit mo sa improvement ng practice mo, magamit mo sa research kung interesado ka sa research, at mapatutuhanan niya na ikaw ay isang lifelong learner. Ang learning can happen informal. Pumunta ka sa school, may curriculum, may structure, formal. Okay, kung hindi masyadong ganun ka-formal, yun yung informal. Pero ang informal is alternative. It's addition to. It's like seminar, workshop, trainings, mga ganon. Okay? O kaya mga modular learning, etc. These are non-formal. Bakit siya non-formal? Formal siya pero hindi masyado. Pag sinabi mong informal, hindi talaga siya formal. Okay, pinag-aralan mo, tinuruan ka ng nanay mo kung paano magluto, hindi ka pwedeng pumunta sa test at sasabihin mo, tinuruan ka ng nanay mo para magluto at mas magaling ka na sa nanay mo. That wouldn't work. So what you have to do there is to make sure that what you learn is recognized. At para ma-recognize yun, kailangan ma-validate. At para ma-validate yun, i-assess ka. At pag na-assess yun at napatunayang meron kang capability, ma-accredit yun